What is up, everybody? It is Coach Matt, and I'm coming to you today from Primal Athlete Training Center here in Cranston, Rhode Island, with a very, very special video for Complete Track and Field and my boy Lateef Thomas, talking a little bit about homemade equipment. Now, a few months ago, I wrote a bunch of articles for CompleteTrackandField.com that had to deal with homemade equipment and different exercises, some of my favorite exercises that you can do with the equipment. The homemade equipment is the Army-Navy green sandbags, the Bulgarian sandbags made out of inner tubes, your Paralette bars, farmer's walk handles, and last but not least, and probably one of my all-time, I guess you can call it all-time favorite, is the homemade suspension strap, your homemade TRX strap. You can do anything with those as long as you have a place that you can hook them up outside. And we got a lot of feedback. We got a lot of great questions from coaches. And it was really cool to see a lot of the questions that were coming in were basically from coaches who either A, did not have use of their high school weight room because it was overcrowded with football players and whoever else. B, did not have a weight room of their own to use. Or C, did not have the money to buy the extra equipment, things like medicine balls and all the other stuff that you see in the catalogs. You know, not a lot of schools, not a lot of teams have an extra couple $1,000 every year lying around. And people wanted to know, how do we make our own equipment? This is some really cool stuff. How do we make it on our own? So what I did is I produced a video. It's actually a 2 DVD set. The first DVD is how to make those 5 pieces of homemade equipment. The second DVD is 50 exercises, 10 exercises per piece of equipment that you made, 50 exercises total. And as a bonus, there is a PDF. It's a 13-week workout that's going to take you all the way through outdoor track season, and it's programmed in such a way that the exercises are basically set up for you twice a week to enable your athletes to peak for the end of the year. So what I wanted to do in this video is explain to you how you set up the 2 days a week. Because, again, the 13-week program, it's 2 days a week, but a lot of coaches are now going to be asking, what 2 days of a week do you want us to lift? What 2 days of the week do you want us using this homemade equipment? Now, what you can see right here is a typical week of just a regular track season. Now, the end of your season is going to start to look like this, because the end of your season, you're going to have your big championship meets, you're going to have your bigger invites and your statewide invites. They're going to be happening on Saturday. So you're going to be setting yourself up, and colleges work this way as well, where they have their meets on Saturday, typically traveling and having this weekend, this big weekend meet. So it works out very, very nicely because you have all week where you can set up your training. Now, to go through this, typically Sunday, this is going to be your day of rest. Sunday is going to be your day off. It's going to be the one day of the week where you're not really doing anything. Saturday, as we said, is the day of the meet. And Friday is typically your pre-meet. Sometimes you might be traveling, staying over in a hotel with your team. Sometimes Friday, if you're a thrower, you're just going to kind of be going through the motions, taking some good throws, getting your body prepped. Sprinters, jumpers, distance guys, mid-distance guys and girls, they're going to be doing their pre-meet stuff with their coaches. So right here, you don't want to do any type of real heavy training, hard training, explosive training, because you're prepping for that big meet on Saturday. Where you're going to be doing the biggest chunk of your training is Monday through Thursday. So you typically have 4 days where you can fit this in. Now, for the coaches out there that either don't have use of their weight room because it's way too overcrowded, or don't have an actual weight room that they use and they're struggling to find out what to do, what you want to do is the lifting with the homemade equipment on the Monday and the Wednesday. You want to leave it as far away from meet day as possible, but you want to leave that day in between so your athletes can have some rest. So that's for the athletes. Typically what we'll see is you'll do your event training. So whether you're a thrower, jumper, pole vaulter, sprinter, whatever it is, you do your event training the first part of the day, and your lifting the second part of the day. So if you don't have a weight room, if you don't have use of your weight room, this is where you would use your homemade equipment right here, where everybody else might typically go into their weight room and lift. You're going to be using your homemade equipment to lift right here and right here on Wednesday. Okay? If you have use of your weight room and you're going to be using the homemade equipment as a supplement to the weight room, the same way that you would use things like your medicine balls, heavy and light shot puts, any of your supplemental stuff, hurdle hops, running up and down the bleachers, strongman type workouts, whatever you normally would do as a supplement to what's done in the weight room that's going to carry over to specific event work, this is where you would put your homemade equipment. So you would still lift like normal on Monday and Wednesday in your weight room, but on the Tuesday and the Thursday, this is where you would use your homemade equipment because you're going to be using it to get more explosive. So you're going to be doing your jumps with the Bulgarian sandbags. You're going to be doing your explosive movements, your explosive cleans, and your cleaning and pressing and your overhead releases. Instead of using a med ball, you're going to be using the sandbag. So pick and say, okay, rather than the medicine balls on Tuesday, we're going to use the homemade equipment. Rather than the jumps on Thursday, we're going to do medicine balls like we normally do, but we're going to use the homemade equipment. So this is going to give you an idea. Now, for a lot of people, they've been looking for something like this for a while because, again, it fills that void. We don't have, especially in the high school coaching, you don't have a big unlimited budget like some of the bigger colleges do, where you have, $5,000 a year to buy new hurdles, $5,000 a year to buy new starting blocks, and to buy new equipment, and to buy new medicine balls, and to buy new, mini banana hurdles, and to buy plyo boxes, and to buy sandbags, and to buy weighted bags. You don't have the resources, you don't have the money. No matter how much fundraising you do, this is the stuff, the homemade equipment is the stuff that basically is always put down to the bottom of the list. What this DVD is going to teach you is how to build your sandbag, how to build the Bulgarian bag, how to build the farmer's walk handles, the parallel bars, and the suspension straps, all for under $200. And depending on the weight of the equipment that you make and how much filler, how much sand, and everything else that goes in there, you can actually still stay under that $200 budget and make even more equipment. Because see, once you have some of the basics and you've got some of the actual supplies to make the equipment, it doesn't cost but a couple bucks more to buy a little bit more stuff, a little bit extra stuff, and just continue making that equipment and getting your team ready for the season. So that's how we would set up our programming using homemade equipment. If you have a weight room, if you have basically your standard stuff in a weight room, you would use it as a supplement on Tuesday and Thursday, like medicine balls and box jumps and hurdle hops and all that other good stuff. If you don't have a weight room at your school, or you don't have use of the weight room because it's overcrowded, you would use the homemade equipment instead of your lifting on Monday and Wednesday. So hopefully this explains a little bit more about how to use the DVD. Make sure you check out CompleteTrackandField.com. The DVD is going to be released any day. So we wanted to put out this video to explain to you guys exactly how to use it so there are no questions once you get it. Watch the DVD, make your equipment, take a look at the free PDF that comes along with it that's going to give you that 13-week training for to get your athletes to peak for the end of the year. Make sure you go to CompleteTrackandField.com, buy your copies of the DVD. It's a 2-disc set with the PDF. You'll be very happy you did. It's going to teach you and turn your athletes into explosive, fast, dominating beasts that peak when it counts for the end of the year. Make sure you check it out.